OK， 我先开始那个。This is not the Ruby on Rails session. If you're looking for me to talk about Ruby on Rails, you're in the wrong spot for sure. My name is Anthony Franco. I'm president and co-founder of a company called Effective UI. We focus on building software for large enterprises focused on user experience. We're about a 100 agency firm located in Denver. Been around for about almost 5 years now. I'm not texting or anything. I have my notes on my phone, so I apologize if I'm looking down to remember what I'm supposed to say. We're going to start with this little pop quiz here on user experience. So just shout from the crowd. What do these three things have in common? And I know they're all white, but anybody have any other opinions on what these three things have in common? They have an interface. All technology actually has an interface, huh? You touch them. They're all very popular consumer electronic devices. But after speaking to the product manager of these three different devices from each of the organizations, what they said is they all found a very large audience in females. And all three of the product managers said they found that audience accidentally. They didn't even know they were going to have that audience. So focusing on user experience allows us to gain that adoption deliberately. So generally I give this, and I forgot to actually poll the crowd here, just from curiosity's sake, how many folks in here are developers, write code? Designers?
错了，这个不是
Project management?
这个不是关于 technical 的一个 lecture，
Yeah, there we go.
这是一些很 common sense 的问题。
So normally I have this discussion with executives trying to get them to do exactly this, invest in good user experience. The first thing I ask these managers, there's only one true measure for successful software. Again, anybody want to take a shot at this? Real simple. One true measure for successful software. Yeah. Is it used? Actually, that's not it. I know, I kind of a red herring. Yeah? From a user's perspective, I would agree with both of you, but for business, we're in a software business. Money. Does it make money? Is there a return on investment? Again, executives usually get that right off the bat. I don't want to spend money on software unless I'm going to make money on software. So the ROI on successful products can be ridiculously good. If you look at the iPhone and ask Apple today, would you double your R&D budget, triple it? Do you think they'd answer yes to that for the iPhone? Absolutely. What's the main ingredient for software ROI? The main ingredient for software ROI is user adoption. Where we start to see executives' light bulbs turn on is when we show them this slide and we say, whatever your initiative is, whether it's customer self-service, employee data entry, even content sites, the common denominator on achieving software ROI is, surprisingly enough, getting people to use it. If you build software and nobody comes, why'd you build it? So focusing on good user experience is simply hyper-focusing on user adoption.
OK， 开始了。
Focusing on that common denominator of what software should be all about. In the
这个
past,
两个任务之间要停顿一会儿。
this is where we have invested in user experience, these buzzwords. Web 2.0, iPhone, Silverlight, Flash, rich internet applications. Has technology alone answered this? Like, how many of you have been a part of a project when somebody says, we built it, it's great, now all we need to do is slap a skin on it to make it usable? That's not how it works, right? Another thing that we always focus on in software development is on time, on budget, no hard conversations. Does this equal success? That's easy. RFPs and fixed bidding projects to vendors. This is typically the result of that type of thinking from executives. from CFOs. Don't get me wrong, a lot of people, probably a lot of people in this room, made some good money on time, on budget, no hard conversations, who cares if anybody's using it. The industry's changed, but we can do better. And this is actually, has anybody built a piece of software that if it could look out, saw this expression? Has anybody touched a piece of software like that? Too few hands go up when I ask that question. It's rare. And when I talk about the expression and the sense of feeling behind software, most people get this we are the world belief of how software is supposed to work, right? They have this feeling that it's just a humanitarian effort. The truth is, this is a webcam of 3 users that are using a piece of software that FactoryUI built that took a picture of themselves as they were using it, and the business success was huge. Sales conversion time for the application reduced 35%. Manufacturing costs dropped 42%. Online revenue grew from $5 million to $85 million in less than 9 months. That's an ROI that executives get giddy about. And it's because we focused on user experience. So let's define it. And it's really hard to define user experience. We map out these 8 criteria for good user experience, and I'll race through these really quick. 1, they provide valuable feedback. If you click on a button, it does something. Like you get a spinning wheel, or something happens in the UI itself. You're not just waiting and clicking for it to happen. It's consistent. If I do something in one area of the UI, and I do something similar, a similar behavior in another area, it consistently behaves. They do the same thing. Enterprises suffer from consistency quite a bit because they build segmented portals. They build one portal that does this and one portal that does that. They kind of look the same, but they all behave differently because they're built by different teams. They behave in a familiar way. That's a little bit different than consistency because we all know and use software outside of the enterprise software that we're building, or the UIs that we're all building. And what you need to do is start driving consistency or driving familiarity from the UIs the users are currently working with the UIs that you're building. And I'll get into that in a little bit. They're obvious and efficient. They perform. They accomplish business and user goals. They're elegant and trustworthy. I'm going to map these up a little bit to a simple use case. The book widget. So this is a simple book widget. Book widget is preview a book before you buy it. This is Barnes & Noble's book widget. It was actually about 6 months ago. They've since improved it. And it's a kind of a stagnant, flat HTML experience. They missed a couple of the points on how we identify good user experience. And more importantly, when you think of Barnes & Noble, and this is something we all have to think about when we're developing software, marketing, brand, and software are starting to converge. And Barnes & Noble's brand is about the experience. You walk into a Barnes & Noble store, you smell the coffee, you see smiling faces behind the counter. You pick up a book and it's tactile. And the reason why they do that is because you buy more books when all those things are true. It's easy to navigate the store. But you go to their website, and at the critical time when you're trying to make a decision on buying a book, you get this flat experience. This is when I'm ready to spend my money. They didn't value the user experience behind it. Then you go to Amazon, and they took a buzzword bingo approach. Lots of features, very rich. Let's use Flash. And they completely missed the mark. They went backwards. It's all UI, all features, and no content. The book is less than half the UI.
UI is the interface.
You can say it performs. That's all you can say about it. And we're going to take a look at the Random House book widget. And we leverage technology for the experience, trying to reproduce as best we can the actual tactile feel of a book. The animation provides an emotional attachment and navigational context. It doesn't matter what we think about the book, actually. We think we did a pretty good job on the widget. Random House thought we did a pretty good job on the widget. but it was actually blogged about quite a bit. This is a very heated debate, the book widget thing on the internet. I don't know why, but a lot of people blogged about it. Hands down, the Barnes & Noble book widget was the best reviewed, but what I found most interesting is this quote: "The Random House offering is much richer to look at, faster to load pages, and offers additional functions like search." Amazon's book widget offered search. Couldn't find it. Amazon's book widget was faster to load. It's on Amazon's infrastructure, faster to load pages. But because the user research was done to understand that search was important to the end user, search was put at the top of, at the very forefront of the UI. So the user found it and reviewed it, that it had search. Amazon, you couldn't find it, therefore it didn't have it. If I've been successful so far, I've kind of been pitching you user experience. You'd believe this. Every dollar invested in usability returns between $10 and $100 in ROI. This is from IBM. But does anybody here think of IBM as a company that values user experience? Yeah. So the problem isn't the why. I think we all inherently get the why. I think we've all had that phone call from mom or sister when they're struggling to use something, and we answer tech support, right? So we're going to delve into a little bit on the how. And what we've done is we actually looked at 200 or so projects that we've done over the last 5 years. And we've taken a look at the successes and said, okay, what's common about these successes? We also taken a look at the things that weren't so successful, and we're going to poke fun at some of that